Brands Hatch has been the staple of British motorsport ever since its inception, since 1926. Although, way back in 1926, the racing back then was quite a lot different from what it is now. It was originally pursued as a cyclist venue by a man called Ron Argent. He led a group of cyclists to end up forming the first ever race at Brands Hatch. It was a 4-mile race between cross-country runners and cyclists. Quite miraculously, the runners won. How that came to be, we still don't know to this day. It was the scene, of course, Brands Hatch, of many famous first victories. Arguably the most infamous was Joe Siffett in 1968 as part of the British Grand Prix, driving the Rob Walker Racing BRM, the last time Rob Walker Racing ever won a Grand Prix. Tonight's race at Brands Hatch could see another first potential race winner as we go into round 6 of the Renault Mégane PMR Trophy, powered and raced with NXTGEN. I am your commentator for tonight, Jack TM53. I'm absolutely chuffed to be back in the commentator seat for this series. We've had a great winter break, been able to have the chance to refresh and restart. We go again for round 6 around this classic track. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be eventful, it's going to be fascinating, and that before we even get to the fact that there's a top 4 reverse grid as well. So this is going to be one mega weekend, or rather I say weekend, a mega race indeed. Now we're just watching Martin at the moment. Martin is the championship leader in the Mégane Lobby 2 at the moment, of course. I'm glad that you are watching today, or wherever it may be you are in the world. However, not just Lobby 2 is going on tonight. Don't forget Lobby 1 of the Mégane Trophy as well is being commentated on by CJW Racing, also on Twitch, and he uploads to YouTube later on too. So good to see a nice healthy field as well in the Méganes. Looking like Lobby 1's got a good number of drivers, but we're concentrating on Lobby 2, and I will run you through the championship standings at present after 5 races. So Martin, as we know, JL09, he starts on currently 98 points in the championship. He leads the way, but he'll be the first of the drivers unable to qualify tonight. Snav is second after winning in the Red Bull Ring the race before the winter break. He's on 84 points. D10 Piper, he's in third on 72 points. And NXTGEN Danzo is 4th on 66 points. Those are the top 4 drivers who were unable to qualify for tonight's race. Slow Seamus is 5th alongside Suburtus. They're both on 55 points, so joint 5th for those two. 7th place is Duds CF14, who's on 52 as Martin returns to the pits. We get a lovely picture of a bush very briefly there. There's Duds, just mentioned him, he's in 7th in the championship on 52 points at the moment. 1805 is in 8th place, he's on 43 points. Got a bit of form around this circuit as 1805. Just see where he is, if he's in the lobby at the moment. He is, he's just in the pits currently. As I was saying, he does have a bit of form around this circuit. He scored a podium last season when we came here. He finished 3rd, and even in our first season way back in season 17 he qualified in the top 10. He was running quite competitively early on, but unfortunately had to retire, so he's got some speed around this circuit. Be interesting to see how he gets on. NXTGEN Bigsy's 9th on 40 points. In 10th place, rounding out the top 10 in the championships, Mark Parker CRT. Unable to make it tonight, unfortunately for Mark. It can't get him in for tonight's race due to various reasons, but he will be arriving in the next few weeks' time. Looking forward to see him back. 11th place in the championship is CRT Pip Didjar, who's only just joined the lobby, as that's 55.8 has either parked or planted it into the wall coming out of turn number 1, Paddock Hill Bend there. He's on 27 points, alongside Mike Edwards, who's also on 27. Shadowstalker DBS is on 25. Roland what's Pip Didjar gone and done into Graham Hill Bend? That's not gone well for him. Roving Island's on 22 points. He can't make it tonight, but he does have a substitute driver, which I'll talk about briefly in a moment. And the 55.8 coming round, Druids at the moment. He's on 19 points. So there we are. That is the championship standings after 5 rounds. And as I said, there was another driver substituting in for Roving Island tonight. There he is, Jazzy Just 75. Good to see him in the series. He has raced with NXTGEN for a number of seasons now as Jazzy, and he's just taken over Roving Island's livery for tonight, so good to have a nice number of drivers in the lobby. We've got 13 currently. There is one driver we're waiting on at the moment as the 55.8 finds himself a nice gravel pit to play in going into turn 1. Really short circuit, Brands Hatch Indy. It's only 1.208 miles, so we can't imagine that we certainly can't imagine that there's going to be any lap times over 60 seconds unless there's been a massive accident. So drivers in practice at the moment, you know, Martin currently provisionally first on a 45.1. You can see Bertus out of the drivers on circuit. He's done a 45.3. This is an opportunity for Bertus tonight. Still looking for that first win in the Mégane trophy. We're still looking for that to see what he can get. His best results so far this season for Sir Bertus at this present moment in time, I believe, is 5th place. He's not yet been on the podium, and last season he was able to score a podium, 2 podiums in fact, at Suzuka and Autopolis. So he's got to hope that the form's going to turn around. He's certainly capable. He was in a good fight earlier on in the season. He goes into the gravel trap. That's going to be a difficult corner for the Mégane. Does tend to nose into the gravel from time to time, especially at turn 1. If you run wide at Paddock Hill, it tends to go a little bit further off and into the gravel trap. It gets sucked wide. So the drivers have to be careful with the lines through the off-cambered turn 1. Now, I'm just looking to see the drivers in the lobby at the moment. We're just waiting on, it's not Sir Bertus we're waiting on, there's somebody else who we're currently waiting for at the moment. So I'll just cut back to there. I better put a message in the chat for the drivers so they know. So just waiting on 1. Should have really put the number 1, but not the end of the world. So, 1 driver left to wait for... Oh, that's studs going flying off at Paddock Hill Bend. Oh, there's another driver going off at Paddock Hill Bend. Can't quite tell who that is. It's Sir Bertus, I think, who's gone off into the gravel trap. So, as I said already, Paddock Hill Bend proving to be a relatively tricky corner at this moment in time. Just looking to see who's we're waiting on at the moment. D10 Piper is not in the lobby at the moment. That's the driver we're waiting on, unfortunately. Bertus just put in who's top 4, which is great to see. So I'll have to put a comment in the box so that the drivers know what they're doing. So couple of comments, couple of people watching. Good to see you all tonight. Nice to be back. There's more chaos coming out of Clearways there in the background. Just saw that as I was typing along. It's one of those situations where I do wish I had a keyboard for the PlayStation, just so it uses the attachment there. Mikey Rapscallion saying, "Hi Jack, Happy New Year to you." Yeah, Happy New Year indeed. 2021. Everyone gets just that little bit older. And Danzo's only just realised what he needs to do, so I better tell him what lap time he needs to set. So, not ideal already. Need to double check so that we know what lap time they're setting. I don't want to give Danzo the wrong one. Just bear with me one moment. So, D10 Piper is in. Awesome, that's good. We'll start in a moment then. just remind the other drivers in the lobby as well. So D10 Piper is now in. Good to see everyone's entered. Actually, D10 Piper was already in, so I'm wondering who the other driver was. But it's too late now. We might as well get underway for qualifying around Brands Hatch. This brilliant circuit, a classic, realistically, obviously alternated with the British Grand Prix, with Silverstone for a number of years. Obviously, we've had many tracks represent the United Kingdom in Formula 1 racing, but qualifying begins now, and that's all in the past. Last race at Brands Hatch in F1 was 1986, so been many years since then, as with drivers now just coming out on circuit. I think it's Jazzy Just who's got out first. He has, but he's had a bit of lag with Seamus there as they went through, coming towards Druids. Bit of a peculiar one. So what a potential spectacle we're going to have here for this race tonight. You know, a lot of drivers that are going to be a bit rusty, absolutely certain. There are going to be a few mistakes, I'm certain, and a few bit of contact patches all the way through this race. But I'm hoping that the drivers will show off their usual class in Lobby 2. It's always a great spectacle for everyone to watch. Everyone enjoys watching these races back, I'm sure. So what can the drivers do? Seamus is going to be the first driver to set a lap time around the Kent circuit. You can see Seamus just coming towards Druids there, turn 2. Going around Graham Hill Bender. We'll take you on a flying lap once the initial lap times have been set, of course. So Seamus will go on board with him. See what his first opening gambit is going to be. It comes round clearways for the first time. So on board then with Seamus, we're in 4th gear. We no doubt we'll get up to 5th gear. Snav already waiting at the side of the circuit. Comes towards the line. Seamus goes on to provisional pole. He's the first driver to set it. Down to 4th gear into Paddock Hill Bend. He's wide at turn 1. Not ideal. That's going to cost him some time. Then up towards Druids. Keeps it in 4th gear. Down to 3rd. Stays in the higher gear down to 50 mile an hour practically, and then switches back quickly for Graham Hill Bend. A tight left-hander down to 3rd gear again. Got to be careful of the curbs around Graham Hill Bend on this game. They can spit you off the circuit. Very quick left-right now for Surtees and McLaren. Little bit of a lift for Seamus, and then on the brakes once again for Clearways. Round this tight 3rd gear right-hander on the Indy circuit, and that is effectively, ladies and gentlemen, your lap of Brands Hatch. Comes towards the line, does Seamus. Will he go any faster? The answer is no, he doesn't. But at the moment, the man on provisional pole, I did mention him earlier on, is Cerberus. But look at that lap time from Shadowstalker, 45.7 now. It's early days, yeah, but this is a phenomenal effort already from Shadowstalker. 18.05 goes a little bit quicker. Jazzy Just has just done a 53. Duds has gone into the gravel trap at turn 1. He's just waiting for everyone to get out of the way. Bigsy alongside Jazzy Just. I think Jazzy's lagging a touch. Danzo's just set his lap time, so he's all sorted. There's 18.05. He's 3/10 up. I mentioned him during practice. He's got a good record around here. Bigsy in the top 5 as well. But I'm really astonished by the lap time from as Seamus now gets himself up to 1st place. That's provisional pole, and he's gone almost 3/10 clear of Bertus. So a non-United Kingdom 1-2 as it stands. We haven't had that ever in the Méganes, but who knows? It could happen. It could all change. It's very close. That's the Zerkotech car going flying into the gravel trap there at Paddock Hill Bend. See Bertus just coming round now. Graham Hill flicks the inside of the curb, uses all the exit curb, gets a little bit sideways coming out of Graham Hill Bend at turn 3. Got to be careful on that corner. As I was saying, I'm astonished at that lap time from Shadowstalker. That's a really good effort in the Garage Floor Tile Company car. He's 3rd currently, and it would certainly be his best ever qualifying position if he can keep it there. He was going on a relatively competitive time now. He was only 500th down, but he caught Pip Didjar, who's gone into the gravel trap just a little bit at clearways. 18.05 now moves up to third. Steel Seal driver getting in there. The Jazzy Just does a 47.9. Duds has done a 46 flat. Oh, that was synchronised spinning, and that's Duds off and into the barrier. That was a big crash. Not sure whether he just followed Pip Didjar into the gravel trap there. Jazzy just apologising for something. Not sure quite what's happened. The field, 8 drivers currently separated by 1.4 seconds. Let's not forget Jazzy Just is a filler in for Roving Island, so he's 2.5 back at the current moment in time. Still a long way to go though. 5 minutes left to go in this session, and it's Seamus currently provisional pole, which would be absolutely brilliant for him. He's had a rough season, has Seamus. It can be said it's not been anywhere near what we were expecting. And he's only had 1 podium, and that was 3rd place at Alsace. That was round 2, so it's not been easy for him. He's been blighted by various issues, but this would be a real confidence booster if he can keep hold of his provisional pole at the time being. Just a quick comment that's just come through there. Martin saying, I love the pit lane. I'm sure you do. 18.05 now goes quicker. The 55.8 gets himself into the 55, or 45s rather, instead. So, top 2 separated by a 10th. Pip Didjar gets into the 45, so Shadowstalker just being shuffled down now after the earlier opening runs. But nevertheless, this is still a really good showing from his best ever qualifying position for Shadowstalker. Incidentally, is actually 6th place. I believe he has had a 5th place before at Brands Hatch, but that was due to the top 4 reverse grid, and I think there was a disconnection in that qualifying session which bumped him up a place. So he started 5th on the grid before, but his actual qualifying best position 6th. So this is still a really good performance from him. He's set another 45. What's this lap time going to be? He's got Pip Didjar just behind him, who's in 4th currently. Doesn't improve, but still good lap time. What about Pip Didjar? He didn't improve either. Pip Didjar, obviously a debutant for this season. Let's not forget, still learning the ropes. Best results so far this season, 8th place in that dread car. But he's been fighting near the front a number of times this season, so he's certainly got the ability to mix it with the others, although he's also got the ability to mix it with the grass and blend in with the colour scheme of his car, so he's got to be careful on that front too. Interesting to see, but Burtist in the top 3 still at the moment. Let's have a look a bit further down. Bigsy in 7th. He's the last driver in the 45s, as Duds has done a 46 flat. So 6/10 covering the top 8 drivers. Jazzy Just has been in the pits since he apologised earlier on, but there's 2 minutes to go in the session. This is a type of race circuit though that presents opportunities and chaos. If someone can get ahead at the start, avoids the drama and maladies at the first couple of corners, that's a very good opportunity for them to run away and potentially get a good result. Duds improving on this lap currently in the fast car. I believe some insider knowledge here that that's not actually Duds' livery. That livery belongs to another driver. Bigsy has now just gone quicker. He's done a 45.7. So that nudges him past the 55.8 now and into 6th. And they're all in a bit of a train going on here. You can see Jazzy just leading it. So 55.8 taking a peculiar line. Duds into the 45s. He's just done himself a 45.9. 1 minute 22 to go. So Duds will have time for 2 laps. Everyone should have time for 2 laps. Maybe 3, depending on who's coming towards Paddy Hill Bend at the moment. Couldn't quite catch the name. It might have been Shadowstalker actually. No, it wasn't. Pip Didjar, he's pulled over the side. He's done for the day. Burtis, he'll get 1 more lap in. Potentially 2 actually. So still a bit of time for the drivers to potentially squeak in a second lap. 18.05 coming towards Druids. He's 9/100ths of a second behind. Duds has gone 4th, so After spending most of his time in the session in 8th place, he's got up to 4th. That would be a really good effort for Dudds. He'd be pleased with that lap time. That's Seamus just getting out of the way, but they kind of converged on one another, and that might have just compromised both of their exits. Certainly Seamus is coming out of clearways there. But onto they go. This will be their final laps. There's 18.05. There's Seamus just behind Bigsy going on to his final lap. Jazzy just has just done a 47.8. So still 2.4 off Seamus currently. But it's an improvement nonetheless for the Roving Isle and substitute driver. That's 18.05 spun onto the infield, and that's his lap over. Just about avoids Bigsy when he tried to rejoin there. Probably didn't see Bigsy till the last minute. But we'll stay with Seamus. The timer has ticked over. Doesn't look as if anyone else is going to improve as they drivers on the icons cross the line. So it's going to be Seamus who's going to be first to come up towards the line. What is his lap time going to be? He can only improve his lap time at the moment. What's he going to do? Doesn't improve. What about Bigsy? Doesn't improve either. What about 18.05's already seen the track. Jazzy just improves. Bertus doesn't improve. I don't believe as any other driver on circuit who can set a competitive lap time. There is not. So Slow Seamus takes pole position, his first of the season. His first, I want to say it, I might be incorrect, I am incorrect, it's his first pole position since season 17. It's been a long time for Seamus, but he's on the front row. Really good performance from the Irish driver, but he's going to take pole. Good news for the Geisen man. 18.05's in second. I alluded to him earlier. I said he's got the form, got the pace around this circuit as 18.05. He's never won a race though as the Steel Seal driver. Steel Seal, of course. He has an opportunity here to get another podium this season. He's certainly driven well enough to earn another one. Bertus third. He's on the front row alongside Dudds. Pip Didjar just pipped himself ahead of Shadowstalker, who equals his best result of 6th place, but that's a really good showing. That's the closest Shadowstalker's ever been to the pole position time. He's less than 4/10, so that's positive for him. Bigsy in 7th. Watch him during the race. Hopefully he doesn't have an incident on lap 1. The 55.8 is 8th, and Jazzy Just was the last of the qualifiers in 9th, followed by the rest of the top 4 championship reverse grid. So 13 drivers tonight. What a race we have in store. But it's race time at Brands Hatch. Slow Seamus in that black and white Geisen car on the left, 18.05 on the white and black and yellow car on the right hand side of your screen, 20 minutes on the right hand side. Here come the numbers. And the race is live here from Brands Hatch. It looks like a relatively good start, but Jazzy Just is an absolute nightmare in the background. But Slow Seamus leads the way into turn 1. Bertus, really good launch from him. He's managed to just squeeze his way up the inside. That's Pip Didjar's gone into the gravel trap and spun. He's just been collected by a couple of cars. I don't think they've turned around themselves, but that's Pip Didjar's race practically done and buried at the moment. Bigsy up into 5th place. It's a good start for him, but he's just been overtaken by Snav, who's had a fantastic start. He is up into 5th place already. Bigsy down in 6th now. Shadowstalker trying to defend from D10 Piper. Martin's on the inside. It's an important overtake. He's got to get past, and he has done. D10 Piper relegated down to 9th. Then Martin gets past in that championship fight. Snav has run a little bit deep, as has Bigsy. It's going to promote an opportunity for Shadowstalker. I will back out and then come straight back in, just so we can get the other camera angles. 55.8's got Danzo all over his rear bumper at the moment. This train of cars currently all hooked together, but Bertus is still in front of 18.05. Look at this train. 4 cars going towards Druids. Got to be really careful. Martin's bumped Bigsy a little bit out of the way. Bigsy's still on the inside coming towards Graham Hill Bend, and Martin just backs out of it. He had enough time, slots Bigsy back in front, and Pip Didjar is out. He's gone. That's it. Unfortunately, just slipped into the gravel trap all by himself, did CRT man. And that's him down to 6th. Look at Shadowstalker trying to go around the outside of Snav into clearways. That would have been impressive. Not quite. And that's Dudds up the inside of 1805. He's got a clean run. 1805 giving him a lot of space, and then comes back and taps his rear left quarter. Not ideal. But Dud's on the brakes, and he's into third place. He's back in the podium positions. He's got 2 podiums this season. 1805 looking for a good switch back. He's up the inside. Just backs out of it though. He knew it would have been a late lunge. Snav still defending from Shadowstalker at the moment. Shadowstalker all over the rear wing of the Power Products driver at the moment. This is holding the drivers up realistically for the championship. Here comes Martin. Makes the absolute opportune moment to get past Big Z, who ran wide at Graham Hill. And down to 8th goes the Hampshire driver. Danzo is up to 9th. He's got past D10 Piper. That's Martin, who's gone very deep into clearways. And back goes Big Z. Takes the position as easily as he lost it. So Big Z into 7th. He's going to have to defend going into Paddock Hill Bend though. Doesn't look like he's going to. Martin on the inside. Oh, Shadowstalker. I thought there was going to be a contact between the two. Martin slides his way back in front of Big Z. So Martin gets the place back. But there was just a moment I thought Shadowstalker braked too early, and I thought they were going to hit the back of him. Would have been controversial, but Martin has cleared Big Z. D10 Piper up to 9th, Danzo 10th, 55.8 11th, and Jazzy just in 12th at the moment. But Seamus leads the way, pressured by Suburtus, the Dutch driver, in the Fuchs car, number 23. We know he's a good driver, we know he can get podiums, putting pressure on slow Seamus. Both of them looking for the first win this season. Suburtus looking for his first ever win in the series. So a lot of potential opportunities on hand, but these two need to work together if they want to get away from Duds and 1805, who's now just being reeled in by Snav. Now don't forget, Snav not too far behind in the championship standings at the moment. He's only 14 behind Martin. There's a car between himself and Martin at the moment in the former Shadowstalker. Just see Biggsy getting a little bit wide through Graham Hill Bend there. We'll stay on board with Martin just for the couple of corners. You see Shadowstalker taking that tighter line, blocks the inside. It's a good move from him. Ooh, Martin, I thought for a moment was going to go to the gravel trap there. That would have been an awkward position for the car. Sales Eye man leading the championship doesn't need any mistakes at the moment. He's looking to the inside but doesn't make a lunge for the time being. Shadowstalker leaves the door open. And up the inside, here comes Martin then. He's going to have the inside line for Druids on the brakes a little bit later. Indeed he does. Shadowstalker gives him the room. Fair driver is Mr. Shadowstalker. And through goes Martin up into 6th place then. Really good overtake that from Martin and good clean racing between the two. Snav's on the back of 1805 now. He won't have much time before Martin gets onto the back of the number 11 car, so he's got to try and push 1805, who is in 4th. He'll be relatively pleased now that the race has settled down. He's got a chance to try and get himself into a rhythm, into a routine. We know he qualified 2nd. He's gone a bit deep into Paddock Hill as I say that. See if Snav's close enough. Oh, bit of lag. That was a peculiar one. Snav goes through. Snav's up to 4th. That was a very odd incident what's just happened there. Not quite certain what's happened, but 1805 now under pressure from Martin. Also have to make a note as well that Bertus and Duds are very close on circuit. It looks like Bertus has dropped a little bit of time. You could just see he has the gap out to 1.2. There's been a little bit of a mistake somewhere in the last 2 laps, or Seamus has just put his foot down and off he's gone. Bertus in 2nd. Duds now looking to put the pressure on him. Snav is past, of course, 1805 now. So Snav running in 4th place. Did a 45.5 the lap before last. Also with that bizarre lag overtake that happened between himself and 1805. But he's setting decent lap times. Martin did a 45.4, currently is the best lap in the session. Then you've got the next trio of cars. That's Shadowstalker. He's holding his own at the moment. With D10 Piper, the Zerkatech man who we saw go off into the gravel trap during qualifying. Danzo there in 9th place. Not made the progress he would have hoped for, Danzo. That much is certain. And there's the Jazzy Just in 10th place. The 55.8 in 11th. And what's happened to Biggsy? He's done a 1:01. Has disaster struck the Hampshire driver once again? I hope not. I hope not. It's been a tough season for Biggsy. He's had 2 5th places. They were his best finishes, and all the other races he's done, the other 3 have just been affected in first corner incidents. Seamus, though, still leads the way. Okay, Duds, he's just closing the gap now to the Dutch driver. Bertus goes wide. He got the line wrong. His entry was all wrong into Paddock Hill Bend. It's just little mistakes creeping in from the Fuchs driver. He's got to keep it together. He's got Dudge right behind him, and Seamus has got a nice 2-second buffer now to the drivers behind. We're only 7.5 minutes effectively into this session. There's still a long time to go, long way to go in this race, and there's still a lot more overtakes to be had. Oh, someone's slowing down going through sequence of corners. I'm not quite certain what's happened there. 1805, I saw a driver on the icon map just disappear, just slow down. 1805's gone, so unfortunately we're down to 11 drivers. Put Shadow Stalker up to 6th place, Martin up to 5th. He's got that car of 1805 out of the way now, so he's got a clear run to go and attack Snav. The gap 1.2 seconds, and Snav will be a bit annoyed with that. Probably would have been hoping. Ooh, he's got a bit wide for Graham Hillben. He would have been hoping for certain that 1805 would have been a nice buffer, a nice block, but he can't think like that. Danzo has just got up to 7th, as his D10 Piper up to 6th. So what's happened to Shadow Stalker? He's gone off. He's still comfortably ahead of Jazzy Just, who's just been overtaken by the 55-8, who did a 59.1 on lap 6. Wonder if he's come together with Biggsy at some stage. What's happening at the front though? Because Seamus, 2 seconds. I said he had a comfortable buffer. That's not comfortable anymore, is it, ladies and gentlemen? He's now only 7/10 clear of Bertus, clear of Duds, and they've got a 2.5 second gap back to Snav. It's going to take time for the Power Products driver to eat into that gap, but as I say that, looking at the lap times, outside of Seamus's errand lap on lap 11, doesn't look like it's going to be an easy gap to pull down. It's going to take some time, and Martin is certainly ripping into Snav at the moment, so if those two keep fighting, you could be looking at that as a top 3, but like I say, still a long way to go in this race, and Duds has now in fact dropped off the back of Bertus and Seamus, who are now only 3/10 effectively separated. We're on board with Sir Bertus. Will go for... Oh, he's gone wide as Seamus. He's gone a little bit on the curb. Here comes Bertus then. He's going to be on the inside. He's going to surely get up the inside through McLaren and Surtees, which he does. And Sir Bertus takes the lead. It was a simple mistake from Seamus. Had a little bit of a wobble on lap 11. Whatever happened compromised him. Lost that 2-second gap. Then he went wide again at Graham Hill Bend, and now he's got 10 minutes to try and take back what was looking like a first win of the season. Got a bit of work to do as the Irish driver. Bertus, though, leads the way. Duds in 3rd place at the moment. He's watching all this go off. It's just on a purple first sector and really hooked up the corner very nicely in that fast car. There's Snav in 4th. He's got Martin now, who's joined him in 5th. 4 seconds back to D10 Piper, who's got Danzo together. So a couple of battles just forming. There goes Martin. He's too deep on the brakes into clearways. That's going to compromise him. And sure enough, look at the time. He lost up to 6/10 it went for Snav's gap. Seamus, though, a little bit errant going under the brakes. A little bit sketchy. Knows that he's got to try and push now to come back and get back into the race. He's got a real difficult time of it, but you see we're on board at the moment, just following him. Bertus leading the way, first time ever in terms of potential race win, but he's still got 8 minutes, the best part of 9 minutes realistically to go, and you can see Seamus just closing the gap once again. Bertus runs deep into clearways. He'll get away with it just a touch, but Bertus under the pressure now. He's in the pressure cooker. And Seamus, he's been there, he's done this, he's won races in this championship before. He'll know what Bertus is going through. And in fact, look at that lap time. Seamus did what was very briefly the best lap of the race before Martin beat it by 1,000th of a second. Exceptionally close. Dud's in third, running at his own pace, I think, at this moment in time. Snav and Martin together on circuit. Now, will Snav fight Martin? That is the question. We know that Snav is a good tactical driver. As Martin has a look a little the inside, I've just thought there was an opportunity. D10 Piper's got Danzo all over his rear wing as well. Danzo gets a little bit out of shape coming out of clearways, and that's going to compromise him. But as I was alluding to before, Snav is a very tactical driver. He won't force the issue, he won't force to defend until he needs to. A little bit of a jerk to the inside on the brakes for Snav, but at the same time, 7 minutes to go. It's not long. Many laps to be done. As you can see, Martin 2/10 up on his best lap so far. That was a phenomenal first sector. We come now through Surtees. That's Duds who's gone off in the distance. Snav's going to go on the inside. There's a little bit of contact between the two championship protagonists at the moment. Snav still holding the defensive line. I was just watching where Duds went off the circuit. Snav just holding on. He's going to have the inside line for Paddock Hill Bend. Will go onto the outside with Martin. Martin breaks a little bit earlier. Duds has gone off into the gravel trap. That's his third place gone. Snav now fighting. He's got so defensive, and Martin's got it all wrong. He's going to sideways. He's just about held it. Snav well within his right to defend that line. He didn't make more of a move than he needed to. Good car control from Martin. I thought he was going to go round, but the Sales iDriver just keeps it on the island. Whew, hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. That was a moment for Martin. If he'd have gone round, he'd have lost probably positions down to Danzo at the least. So good driving. Just got to get himself back into shape, back on the back of the rear wing of Snav, which it looks like he's already done. Duds has just thrown away third place. Two mistakes within the space of 3 corners effectively have just cost him the podium fight. Just coming up towards Jazzy Just. There's a couple of drivers and back markers for the leaders to try and deal with. Opportunity knocks for both Seamus and Martin if the two in front of them get stuck. Although I think Bertus is going to catch Bigsy at a relatively decent time. Bigsy, a very clean driver. And look at that, he's pulled to the inside, but keeps on going. Didn't need to pull out of the way. Snav defending again from Martin. Martin just looking to the inside, looking to the outside. He's gone even faster. He's on the gravel. He's into the gravel trap. That's it for Martin. He's gone off the circuit. Where's Duds? Not close enough. Martin just got suckered into the outside line, and that might have just compromised his podium opportunity. He's got 5 minutes to go, but it's going to be a long way back for him. And you could see how hard he was pushing, trying to get past Snav earlier. But now he's got to just try and fight to keep Duds behind him, because Duds has got a little bit of momentum and closed that gap down to half a second, although he runs deep into clearways. D10 Piper's had Danzo stuck behind him for this whole race. He must be thinking, D10 Piper, what can I do to shake the Adrian Flux driver off my rear wing? I see that Bertus and Seamus are still close together, but Danzo gets inches closer to the back of the Zerkatech man. Doesn't do anything with it currently, and I don't know if he's close enough to go for a lunge at Druids, which he isn't. Shadowstalker still in 8th. Still a good haul of points. It'll put him in the top 10 in the championship, I believe. 55.8 has lagged, jumped back onto the circuits. That's good. Bigsy just pulls right out of the way. He doesn't want to get himself involved in any incidents. And in fact, it's reset him to the track, which is rather harsh. Bertus, though, has a gap. That's a rather big gap, actually. What happened to Seamus on lap 20? You can't see it on the timing screens on the right hand side, but he's lost time on lap 20 to the tune of potentially 2 seconds. 3 minutes 37 to go on the clock. Bertus might just be on his way to what could be a first ever win in the Mégane trophy, and what a moment that would be for him. He's just done a purple sector as well, so he's absolutely hooking this lap up so far. Personal best of a 45.4 him. A little bit of lag there. Hopefully that doesn't persist. He just loses that little bit of time he had. 3 minutes to go. Roughly 4 laps, maybe 3, depending on where the drivers are on circuit. Snav in third. Duds is fourth. What has happened to Martin? I haven't seen it. Martin has dropped to 7th. What happened on the last lap prior to the one he's just completed? A 54.8. That is not what we'd expect from the Sales I driver. The championship leader has dropped to 7th. And that is going to cut into his championship lead massively. The championship fight, ladies and gentlemen, has just burst wide open. But there's still 2 minutes 25 to go in this session, and as we've already seen, drivers are making mistakes. Everything's going the way that no one would have thought it'd have gone. Looking at everyone else, doesn't look like there's any particular problems going on around the circuit. It looks like it's quite spaced out for the first time in this race. Oh, that's Danzo's gone round. So Danzo spins off in the background. Martin's just going to get himself a point back there. He needed that. Danzo just went off into the gravel traps, looped him round. Down to 7th goes Danzo, and D10 Piper must be breathing a sigh of relief. He's had Danzo stuck behind him all race long, but now he can at least bring the car home. He's 2.5 seconds behind Duds, but I think Duds is driving relatively consistency, apart from his off earlier in the race when he went off at Paddock Hill. Been this could be a good result for him. Snav in third, Seamus second. He's got that gap down to Bertus. It must be on his mindset now. The Dutch driver knows he's effectively 2 laps, maybe 1, depending on how long he's got left in the lap. I'd say 2 laps to take home a potential win. You could just see little hesitations in the accelerator. You could see that little blip that comes up, the little white accelerator indicator next to the gears at the bottom of the screen. He lost 6/10 on that lap. 6/10 gained by Seamus. What must be going on inside his head? He knows he's only a lap, potentially 2 away from the end. He's coming up to the 55.8, who's had what can only be described as another one of his races, the Scottish driver. Just hasn't gone the way he would have wanted it to. And we're still waiting for 55.8 to have a good race. Unfortunately, he's certainly capable. We know he's got the speed to do it. That's Jazzy Just, I think, going off, or nearly went off into the gravel trap. So here comes Subertus then towards the line. He's got 1 more lap to go. Seamus not giving this up at all. He's coming towards the line now as 55.8 gets out of the way. This is the last lap for the drivers. Snav gets to the line, so he's going to get 1 more lap in. Duds 4th, D10 Piper 5th, Martin lowest result of the season, he's 6th. There's Danzo, Shadow Stalker. The 55.8's been lapped, as has Jazzy Just, so we don't need to concentrate on these two. It's between Seamus and Bertus. Look at this gap coming down, down, down every corner. The gap is 6/10. Bertus, he's got 2 corners left. Make it 1 more. He's coming into clearways now. Gets the braking right, he's got the line right, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Seamus isn't anywhere near. It's going to be, for the first time ever, Subertus takes the race win at Brandt Hatch. What a result! Seamus takes 2nd, and Snav gets a podium, but what a performance from Subertus. It's his first race win. Wow, he's going to be absolutely delighted with that. What a drive. He takes the win. Seamus in 2nd. There's the results confirmed on the screen. But it's Subertus who takes his first ever win. I'm absolutely delighted for him. He started 3rd. He took advantage at lap on turn 1. He got past Seamus when he made that mistake. And he's got a race win. I said in practice, in the opening, it could be a chance for a debutante's victory, and he's done it. What a performance. He'll be jumping up and down right now. Seamus, it's a podium for him. It's his second podium this season, his best result, but what could have been? He had 2 seconds at an earlier stage. Snav takes third, just eats into Martin's championship advantage. He's cut the gap down to 10 points. So with 4 rounds to go, still quite open. 4th for Mr. Duds, he'll be pleased with that. Another good result for him. 5th place went the way of D10 Piper, who has spent most of the race trying to fight off, obviously, Danzo. Martin, 6th place, lowest result of the season. Couple of mistakes, just couldn't quite work his way through the grid and the field. Loses his points, but he's still got the championship lead. Still a nice little margin to have, but the pressure's on, as Snav has just been creeping into that advantage, and another couple of points might just set up a little bit of doubt in his mind. But we know Martin's a good driver, we certainly know that. But what a race, really good fun to watch. Absolutely wonderful performance from the drivers. It was a lot cleaner than seasons gone by, which is always a positive, and really good for the drivers to get back into the racing action as well. It was really good for me to commentate on tonight after a couple of weeks break over the Christmas period. But if you want to tune in for more racing action with NXTGEN, then feel free to stick on this channel. In the next 5 or 10 minutes, we'll be opening up the communications and comms for round number 6. Same track again at Brands Hatch for the Volkswagen Scirocco League. That'll be for Lobby 1. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that one if you want to stay on the channel. But for the time being, wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one, and I'll see you soon.